So today we're gonna do the week 5 term 1 math quiz, and this quiz is gonna be like very long and like not, I won't say confusing, just long. Some parts of it are gonna be very confusing, so it's like just you need to follow along and focus well when solving. Now let's start. So first question is first two questions are sat style questions. They're the easiest two questions. So now they're telling you that the swimmer, this is the function d, and the distance in meters Jerry has to swim to reach the end line in a competition after swimming for t seconds. How many meters can Jerry swim each second? If it's each second, it means that time is variable, and we know time is variable because time is the like the variable thing in this equation. So the answer is gonna be the coefficient of t. You're gonna say, why didn't we put negative 0.08? You can't, because it is in meters and distance cannot be negative. So you just put 0.08. Moving on. And by the way, guys, this is the third time I record the video, because first two times my tablet decided to delete the video by itself for absolutely no reason. Or actually, first time I recorded, there was no mic in the recording, no voice. Now second time it deleted by itself, so this is the third time recording. Anyways, it's fine. So now let's move on. Alan lives in a town at an altitude of 500 feet above sea level. He drives from his phone uphill from his home to visit a friend for each 3 miles. For each means divide. For each, divide. 3 mile drive uphill, altitude increases by 50 feet. So it's by 50. For each 3, it increases. Now we need to make a function that h models Alan's altitude in feet relative to the sea level after driving x miles. So if it's for each 3 miles, we need for x miles. So it's 50 by 3. So 50 for each 3, x plus 500. Now why plus 500? Plus 500 because we already started at an altitude of 500 feet. So what they want you in this question is to fill out 50 by 3. All this question is asking if you know how to read. Now for this question, we need to use a rule called quotient rule, which states if y equals u over v, y prime equals u prime v minus u or v prime u all over v squared. These questions are the questions I'm talking about that take long, not actually this. When we start reaching question like 10, then it's where it starts getting like very confusing. But for now, we're still fine. This question, since it told us they want at f prime equals 2 or at 2, you could put it into your calculator where it's shift the integral button. But if they check your calculators at the door, you cannot use that, so that's why you need to use this rule. But please, if they do not check your calculators and they let you get your integral calculator, please use it, because it saves you time and like brain power. Like you leave the exam with brain cells left. Anyways, let's start. So it's 18 x squared. We need to derive. So u prime. Since it's u prime, it's 18 times 2, which is 36, x, times v, which is 1 plus x, minus v squared, which is 1 plus x, like the v prime. Now, 1 plus x is to the power of 1. Or whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, x is gonna be the only thing you can derive. So it's 1 times u, which is 18x squared, all over 1 plus x all squared. So it's gonna be, just substitute 2 into this equation. You should be getting 16. Let's do it, which is 36 times 2 times 3 equals minus 18 times 4 all over 9 which is 16. When you substitute 2 into this equation. Moving on. Here, you just derive everything alone when you have plus between everything. So it's 9x squared plus 4x plus 5. So now we substitute 10, which is 900, plus 40 plus 5, which is 945. Moving on. Here we started with curves. Now you have a curve whose equation is given by fx equals 2x squared minus 0.125, which is the same as 2x squared minus 1 over 8x. Now, for this question, you need to be able to derive the equation. Oh yeah, they're asking you if line n is normal to c at 0.0 and q is a point on n. What is the value of s? And they even told you how to solve the question. So first of all, we derive to find the slope of curve c, or the slope of the normal. So it's going to be 4x minus 1 over 8. That's the derivative of the curve. Now we know that it's normal at 0, 0. So you need to substitute 0 into this. Your slope is going to be negative 1 over 8. But whenever you do this, this is the slope, or m of the tangent. You want m of the normal. You want the slope of the normal. To find the slope of the normal, m of n, which is normal, equals 1 over m, negative 1 over m of t. So it is the negative reciprocal of the slope of the tangent. So negative 1 over 8 is 1 over 8. Flip it is equal to 8. Now we use the point slope theorem, which is y minus y0 equals m into x minus x0 to get your equation. Now we have the point 0, 0, so that is the point you substitute into this equation. Y minus 0, which is y, equals 8 into x minus 0, which is just 8x. Now we need to substitute 5 to find y. So you substitute x in, which is 5. 5 times 8 is 40, so y equals 40. Moving on. Here we need to use the quotient rule again. Quotient rule. Now, to do this, it is again u prime v minus v prime u all over v squared. Now again, this is very annoying, so it's u prime is gonna be 200 prime. Any constant prime, or the derivative of any constant, is 0. 0 times anything is 0. So 0 minus v prime, which is x times x to the power of 4 prime, which is 4x to the power of 3, times u, which is 200, all over x power 4 squared, which is just x to the power of 8. But let me write it x4 squared. So now we have negative 800 x cubed over x power 8. Now substitute negative 2 into this equation. It is just going to be 4, negative 800 times 4 over, just put it onto your calculator, negative 800 times 4 over negative 2 power 8 is going to give us, oh my bad, it's x cubed, not squared. Anyways, it's now negative, so it's 800 times 8, or negative 8, negative 800 times negative 8 over this, it's gonna give us 25. My bad, guys. Anyways, next question. So far you're gonna say this is very easy. Where's the hard part? You're gonna see in 3 questions almost. Now what's the value of, okay, for this part, whenever you have something times something with a power, you're gonna, like here it's 1 times this bracket to the power of 4. We use something called the chain rule, which is y equals a u power n. So y prime equals n a u power n minus 1 times u prime. So 1 is our a, this is our u, 4 is our n. So we multiply 4 by 1, it's 4 into x squared plus 2x power 3 into, or times, the derivative of u, which is just 2x plus 2. It's the derivative of whatever is inside the brackets. So now we have, now you could just substitute 1 into this equation. So it's 1 plus 3, which is 1 plus 2, my bad, which is 3 to the power of 3, which is 9, times 4, which is 36. 36 plus 36 times, it's 4. 36 times 4. Is it 4? No. Oh wait, that's not 9. It's 27. Ah yeah. So it's 4 times 27 times, here it's gonna be 4, which when multiply them, 432. Let me check those. 16 times 27, 432. Yeah, my bad guys, it's a very dumb mistake. Anyways, so now next question. Consider this curve. We need to find the slope of the tangent. To find the slope of the tangent, you derive it. So 2x minus 4. Then you substitute the x point. So it's gonna be 4. So it's 2x minus 4. 2x times, okay, so it's gonna be 8 minus 4. So the slope of the tangent is 4. Now, to find the equation of the tangent, we need to find now, to solve part B, y minus 0, which is y, equals 4 into x minus 4. So it's 4x into negative 16 when you distribute. Now they want the tangent to the curve at 4 of 0 when it intersects the y-axis. When you have a graph, it intersects the y-axis at this point. Anytime it intersects the y-axis, the x has to be 0. It's gonna be at x 0. So 4 times 0 is 0, minus 16 is minus 16. So y, when x is 0, is negative 16. Let us move on to the next question. Now in this question, they gave you a line, negative 8x cuts a curve at points A, B, C. Now, what we need to do is we solve it. So you have this line and it cuts a curve, so they intersect at a point. So it's, this equation is y equals x, wait, it's, you're supposed to distribute it. Yeah, I was going on right, wait. Anyway, so yeah, it's x, oh my bad, x plus 3x squared minus 3x squared minus 9x cubed. So now you have an equation for the curve of x minus 9x cubed. And yeah, that's right. So we also have this equation. If they're intersecting at a point, this is negative 8x, you have to equal them to each other. So x minus 9x cubed equals negative 8x, which is negative 9x cubed plus 9x equals 0. Now you go onto your calculator, mode 5 then 3, or mode 5, then you press 4, which is gonna give you the x with the exponent 3, Or if you have a calculator that's non-integral, it's mode 3 and 4 also, I think. Either way, like, check on your calculator. You have to go to the equations button in mode. I think every single calculator has it. Anyways, then you're gonna get that x equals -1, 0, and 1. You will order them from least to most because that's what they wanted. Now, what we do when we get them is you're gonna substitute into any of these two equations the x values. In this case, I'm gonna substitute into y equals -8x because it's easier. -8 times -1 is 8. That's where we get 8 from. Now, 0 times -8 is 0, and 1 times -8 is -8. And that's how you solve the first question. Now, which of the following is true? The slope of the curve to the slope of the tangent to the curve at B is 1. So first you find the derivative of the curve, which is -27x squared plus 1. That's the derivative of this. Now what we do is you substitute b, which is 0, at 1 at x, and 0 plus 1 equals 1. So the slope of the tangent to the curve at B is 1 is correct. Now, the tangent at B perpendicular to the tangent at A and C. First of all, let us find the tangents at A and C. Tangents at A is gonna be, so again, you substitute into this equation. It's 1, so it's, -1. -1 squared is 1. -27 times 1 is -27 plus 1 is, so slope or m at A equals 26, or -26 even. And slope at C is also going to be -26 because 1 is the same thing what we did here. 1 squared stays 1, -1 squared stays 1. So they have the same slope, making A and C parallel. Any two lines with the same slope are parallel. Any two lines with slopes that are negative, what's it called? That are negative reciprocals of each other, like -26 and 1/26. These two lines would be perpendicular if their slopes are like this. Now, is the slope 1 the negative reciprocal of -26? No, it is not. So this one is wrong. The slope of the tangent to the curve at C is -1. No, we found it to be -26. B and C are parallel. Is 1 equal to -26? No, it is not. Now, are A and C parallel? Yes, we found them to have both a slope of -26, so it is. And are A and C perpendicular? No, they are not negative reciprocals of each other. Moving on to our next question. Now listen, this question will take a lot of focus, especially parts C and D. So please be careful when solving. Now, we're gonna start with part A, but then we're gonna move on to C and D. So part A, you're gonna split it up into 3 parts. We first derive this, then this, then this. To derive this, we use chain rule. So it's 4 into 5x plus 1 power 3 into u prime, which is just 5. 5 times 4 becomes 20. And this is your first part. Now plus 3x squared, we derive it into 6x, and -9, we derive it into -9. And that is your answer. First part, very quick, very easy. Second part has a slight trick. Now, we first split it up into 3 parts again. We derive each one alone. This is 20 power x power 4. This is -16x. These first 2 parts are fine. We got till here. Or well, till there. Now for the last one, we need to derive 6 over this radical x. Now what you do is first you convert it to half and then you bring it up. So this is 6 radical x -half. Now you multiply -half by 6, it becomes -3 x to the power of negative half minus 1, which is negative 3x power negative 3 over 2. So it's negative 3 over x 3 over 2, which is the same as saying x cubed under square root. Negative 3. Now x cubed under the square root can be simplified into x squared times x under square root. Now you could take x squared out of the radical sign, which it becomes x, and you'll be left with x radical x. And that's how you solve this part. The negative is here, by the way, so you only put 3. Now, for the next two parts, they're almost the same concept, the both of them, but they need a lot of focus from us. Okay, for this question, we need to use both product rule and chain rule. Product rule is that if y equals u times v, then y prime equals u prime v plus u v prime u. Now, to solve this, we first need to do u prime v. Okay, so it's 3x squared plus 1 is equal to u prime is 6x. Now let's multiply it by v. Or you know what, first let's derive u and v. So u prime is 6x. V prime, we need to use chain rule for v prime, which is because it's 3x squared minus 1 power half. So to do this, we have u as 3x squared and 1 as half. This is u inside the brackets and a is outside. So now we do half into 3x squared minus 1 into negative half, because it's half minus 1, which is negative half, times u prime, which is 6x. Now this is equal to 6x over 2 into 3x squared, because you move everything down. 3x squared minus 1, because it's negative you can't have a negative exponent up, so you move it down, and half is basically square root. And now 6 cancels with 2 to become 3x. Now, so v prime is 3x over radical 3x squared minus 1. So now that we found everything, red is me applying the product rule. Now that we have both of these, we're gonna do u prime, which is 6x, into v, which is 3x squared minus 1 power half, plus 3x now you could put it as you could do this as square root. You could, it's possible, plus 3x plus 1, which is u times the v prime, 3x over 3x squared minus 1. Now to do this, you combine it into a single fraction by multiplying both denominators to be the same. So you're multiplying it here by, okay, this is gonna be long. Let me make my handwriting a bit smaller so we can actually do this in one line. So it's gonna be, again, 6x into radical 3x squared minus 1 plus 3x into 3x, it's 3x over radical 3x squared minus 1 times u, which is 3x squared plus 1. Now we make them equal denominators, and personally I'm gonna like put this all on top so it can be easier for us. 3x squared minus 1 here, and here it's gonna be 3x squared plus 1. Now we multiply both of these to make them equal denominators, so it's equal to 6x into radical 3x squared minus 1 times 3x squared minus 1 again, all over 3x squared minus 1, or under the radical sign of course, plus 3 times 3x squared, 3 into 3x squared plus 1 over the same denominator. So I'm just going to put them all over the same denominator. Now 3x squared times 3x squared, they're going to cancel into just 3x minus 1. So it's 6 times 3x minus 1. Because radical and radical multiply them by each other, it cancels out the radical sign. Plus 3 into 3x squared plus 1 all over radical 3x squared minus 1. Now we substitute into the equation, so it's going to become 18x, or it's not, wait, there's something wrong I think, or is it not, wait, no, 18x cubed minus 6x plus 9x cubed. Wait, let me change the color again so we don't mix up again. So it's 6x cubed, 18x cubed minus 6x plus 9x cubed plus 3x. Then you're gonna get, anyway, simplify like terms, 27x cubed minus 3x all over radical 3x squared minus 1. And that's how you get this answer. As you can see, it's very long and tedious process. Let us move on to the next part. Let's actually give it more space so we can solve. Now, for the next part, we want to use product rule again, but you're gonna say, why can't we use quotient rule? You can, but personally, I have something with the quotient rule, I hate it. Let's not use it. So what we're gonna do is, y equals x power 6 times, I'm gonna put times as a dot, x power 6 minus 1 all power negative half. Again, we're gonna use the product rule and we're gonna start. So again, we have to use chain rule, I think, also command. Now let's find u prime and v prime. U prime is gonna be 6x5. V prime is gonna be, again, negative half into 6x6 minus 1 times, to the power of negative 3 over 2, because you subtract from 1, times 6x5. So this is the same as writing, it's equal to 6x5 should I leave it like this or should I like simplify it? I don't know. I'm gonna write it both and I'll see if I want to use whatever I use later. So it's 6x5. Actually, I'm gonna like keep it all on the same level, so it's just gonna be 3 because it's times negative half, so negative half, or negative 3x power 5 into x power 6 minus 1, 3, negative 3 radical 2, divide by 2, so that's v prime. Now, this is our part 1. Part 2, we're gonna do 6x5 into v, which is x 6 minus 1 into negative half, plus our v prime, which is negative 3x5 into x6 minus 1 radical negative 3 over 2 times x power 6. Now, or 6, no, it's x power 6. Now, let us multiply. Okay, so let's simplify it more. So y equals, or y prime, not yet y prime actually, but it's gonna equal to 6. Actually, it is y prime, but we still need to simplify. Into x6 minus 1 power negative half, plus we could do negative 3 x power 11, because you can add the two x values together, into x power 6 minus 1 all power negative 3 over 2. And now that's the simplified version. And now we could factor out 3x power, we could factor out wait, can we factor out anything? Yes, we can actually. We can factor out 3x to the power of 5 into x to the power of 6 minus 1. Sorry, my mic lagged. Anyways, what we're gonna do is just like, now we can factor out 3x power 5 into x6 minus 1 to the power of negative 3 over 2, because it is it's the smaller number of like the exponent. You could this all into now 2x, or no, actually 2, because we cancelled out x, into x power 6 minus 1 power 3 over, no, actually no power, because half minus, it's half minus 3 over 2. You're gonna say, why is it exponent 1? It's because negative half minus negative 3 over 2 is exponent 1. That's why we factored it out. So this is gonna be into, or times, or minus x power 6, because we took 3x11, we're only left with x power 6 from this part of the equation. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna simplify everything inside the brackets alone, like aside I mean, which is gonna be 2x6 power 1 minus 1 minus x power 6, which is equal to 2x6 minus 2 minus x power 6 equals x power 6 minus 2. Now we can work with our final equation, which is y equals 3x5 into x6 minus 1 power negative 3 over 2 times x power 6 minus 2. And now if we want positive exponents on everything, we could put the x6 minus 1 negative 3 over 2 to the bottom. I'm gonna do that here. So it's gonna be 3x5 times x6 minus 2 over x6 minus 1 power 3 square root. Now we could take out x6 power 1 or minus 1 and 2 x power 6 minus 1, and that is, and we should distribute this, becomes 3x power 11 minus 6x power 5. Like I said, guys, it takes so much solving, and I hope you guys like followed along on everything and understood it, but this is the answer we reach in the end. It's very long, I know, but this is literally the fastest way to do any type of question like this. Now, moving on to our next question finally. Now, this question is telling you, let P, which is x and 3x squared, represent any point on curve C. Let Q be a variable point on C whose abscissa, which it means its x value, is x plus small delta x. This is, you know the delta sign from physics? This is the small delta sign. This is like the lowercase of it. So now we should like solve with it. So curve C. Okay, now we have curve C. Curve C is y equals 3x squared, right? Because this is the y. See, this is the y. Now, this is for curve C. Now, what do we know about point P? Point P's abscissa, or its x value, is x plus small delta x, comma, they told you 3x squared is any point on the curve. C is a point on the curve. Or Q, my bad. Q is a point on the curve C. So its y is gonna be 3 into x plus small delta x cubed, squared, my bad. So this is your x value. Let me change the color. This is x and this is y. Back to green. Now, to find the slope of the secant line joining P and Q, we need to do y0 minus, so it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's do it. yq minus yp over xq minus xp. So y, so it's 3 3x plus delta x squared minus 3x squared over it's gonna be x plus delta x minus x. So it's just gonna be delta x. So this is our slope. We can simplify it even more by expanding the numerator, which is gonna be, like I said, none of these questions are short, by the way. Like starting question 10 and onwards, the questions get more annoying. So it's gonna be 3x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared. Actually, I need more space to solve this. This part I explained and everyone should have understood by now. Now it's 3. Now we expand x squared plus, so it's a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. That's what I'm doing here. So x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared minus 3x squared. Now you can expand 3 into this equation. So it's 3x squared plus 2x delta x plus, or no, sorry, 6x delta x because you're expanding 3, plus 3 delta x squared. All squared. Minus 3x squared. So this is going to cancel with this. You're left with 6x squared plus 3 delta x. Oh, wait. All over delta x squared. All over delta x, my bad. Now we could take delta x as a factor. Delta x is equal to 6x plus 3 into delta x, because we took out 1, over delta x. Delta x cancels with delta x. We're left with 6x plus 3x, 6x plus 3 into delta x. And that's your slope of the secant line. Now we can delete everything and solve part B. As delta x approaches 0, so when this becomes 0, the slope of PQ approaches. So when this becomes 0, the slope is 6x. That's literally all it's asking. Now when x is 1, the gradient of the curve is 6. That's it. You just substitute 1 into this part. And that is literally it. Now, moving on to our next question. Okay, now we need to find equations of the tangent to the curve and whatever. Anyways, there's 7 questions left. This question's easy. Let's move on. Consider the curve whose equation is this. We need to first step, derive the curve. So it's 12x squared minus 5. Now, to find the tangent at -1, you substitute -1. So it's -1 squared, which is 7. So that's the slope of the tangent equals 7. So now we put point theorem. Now this is the thing I told you. When they do not give you a whole point, what do? First, you're gonna take x and substitute it into the original equation, which is this without deriving, to get your full point. So it's -1 into -1 cubed, which is -1 times 4 is -4. -4 minus 5 times -1, which is plus 5. -4 plus 5 becomes 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So this is your whole point. Now, y minus 3 equals 7 into x plus 1. So y minus 3 equals 7x plus 7. Now it is y equals 7x plus 10 when you move minus 3. That's your first equation. Now to find the second part, we said that the slope of the tangent is equal to 7. If the equation of the normal is gonna be the first steps are the exact same, and remember you have a point of -1, 3. Now to find the slope of normal is -1 over slope of tangent. So it's equal to -1 over 7. -1 over 7, and you do the exact same equation. Y minus 3 equals -1 over 7x into -1 or plus 1. You're going to be left with y minus 3 equals -1 over 7x plus negative or minus 1 over 7 plus 3 if we want to remove it from here. Long story short, it's going to be -1 over 7 plus 3. So -1 over 7 plus 3 is going to equal 20 over 7. So our equation is y equals -1 over 7x plus 20 over 7. Now, whatever we're going to do onwards is basically just making the equation look like this. So they want us to multiply y by a number that makes all the denominators no denominator 1. So to do that, you just multiply y by 7. So if you multiply y by 7, you need to multiply everything on that side by 7. So negative 1 over 7x by 7 is negative 1x or negative x, plus 20 over 7 times 7 is just plus 20. Now they want us to also make x positive, which means move it to the other side. So it's 7y plus x equals 20. And that matches this equation exactly. And that is your final answer. Moving on. Okay. Here we need to apply quotient rule again. If you can't tell, I really hate this rule. And this chapter is easy, it just needs time. If you have time, you could solve any question correctly. Now, quotient rule, we said it is it's u prime v minus v prime u over v squared. So now u prime is 16x7 minus 18x5 plus 4x3 into v, which is x3, minus, by the way, again, never mind, you can't. I was gonna say you could put this into your calculator, but they didn't tell you at x point equals whatever, so you can't do that. Anyways, minus v prime is 3x squared into 2x8 minus 3x6 plus 4, or x power 4, all over x cubed to the power of 2. Now this can be rewritten as 16 x power 10 minus 18 x power 8 plus 4 x power 6 minus 6 x power 10 minus 9 x power 18, no, not 18, minus 9 x power 8 plus 3 x power 6. Now we distribute the minus sign, so 16 x power 10 minus 18 x power 8 plus 4 x 6 minus 6 x 10 plus 9 x 8 minus 3 x 6 all over x power 6. Now let's simplify what we can. 16x10 minus 6x10 is 10x 10, and we have negative 18x power 8 minus this is it's minus 9, is it? It's minus 9x 8, then 4x, okay, so it's plus x power 6. Now we're gonna, this is all over x power 6, by the way. Now we need to take out a common factor, which is x power 6 is a common among all of them. So x power 6 into 10 x power 4 minus 9 x power 2 plus 1 over x power 6. X power 6 cancels with x power 6. You're left with, final answer here in red, 10x4 minus 9x squared plus 1, which is the answer here. Now that's it for this question. Moving on, the point on the curve, which the gradient is, okay, so here they gave us the slope and they're asking us to find the points. So what you do is you derive, so it's 8x equals the slope, which is 24. So x equals 3. Now what do? Now you just take this 3 and you substitute it into the original equation to get the full point. So it's 3 into 3x squared, which is, 4x squared, which is 9 times 4, 36 minus 9, is 27. And that's it for this question. Moving on. If y equals this, then y equals, okay. So 3x times x squared, because look, this looks like a minus b plus a times a plus b, which is a squared plus b, a squared minus b squared, right? So it's x squared minus 4 squared minus 16. Now we need to put product rule. Product rule is gonna be y equals uv y prime equals u prime v plus v prime u. Now it's 3 into x squared minus 16 plus 2x into 3x, or aka 6x squared. Now let's distribute this. 3x squared minus 48 plus 6x squared, 9x squared, we like terms, we add them together, minus 48. And that's your final answer. Moving on. These questions are like a bit of a breath from all those questions we did. Okay. Now we're back to solving annoying questions. Now, you have a curve with this equation and the line with this equation. A is a constant, so A is a number. It has no x value. And the line with this equation. The x coordinates of the points of the intersection of this line and curve are given by the equation. Here it says x squared, by the way, if you can't see. Let me move the screen. Now, they want you to give you the equation of the intersection of these two lines. So it's x squared minus 2x plus 16 equals 2x plus a. Move them. It's going to be x squared minus 2x plus 16 minus 2x minus a. Like terms together, so x squared minus 4x plus 16 minus a. And that's the first part. This is all equal to 0. Now, for the part B, you need to make a case, or imagine the line intersects the curve at 2 points. Given that the x coordinate of one of these points is -4, the x coordinate of the other point of intersection is, so what we need to do is go back to this equation and find. Now, there's 2 ways you could do this, but one way is easier than the other. I'm just gonna give you the easy way. Both are correct. What we're gonna do is x squared minus 4x plus 16 minus a equals 0. You're gonna say, okay, that's the equation. But since we know that we need to find where it's 2 points now. We know that -4 is one of the points of intersection. We need to find a now. A is gonna be the answer. We need to first substitute -4 instead of each x. -4 squared minus 4 into -4 plus 16 minus a equals 0. Now find a. So it's gonna be 16 plus 16, which is 32, plus 16 minus x equals 0. Let me write down what I just said. 32 plus 16 minus a equals 0. Then we find 18 to be a equals 48. Okay? So now we have a full equation, finally. So we have our equation to be x squared minus 4x plus -16 minus a. Since a is 48, 16 minus 48 is -32. Now we could just put this equation into our calculator in mode equation or mode 3, which is 1x squared minus 4 minus 32. It will give us x could equal to 8 or negative 4. So that's how we get the second question. Now, for part C, it's a completely different question. For part C, it's saying, imagine another case where this line is tangent to the curve at point P. They want the value of A and the coordinates of P. So what do we know when a line is tangent to a line? It means that it touches the line at exactly one point. Now there's two ways of solving this. The way I use is way easier than the other way. I'm gonna explain both though, in case in the exam it comes as a different thing. Now, the tangent to the curve, we know that these lines touch each other, and 2x is the slope. So we first derive this equation, so it's 2x minus 2 equals the slope, because we already have the slope. 2x minus 2 equals 2, because 2x is the slope. So then you have 2x equals 4, x equals 2. By the way, here we're finding this point first. Since x is equal to 2, we substitute x into the real equation. 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 is 0, plus 16 is 16. So 0 plus 16 is 16. So your points are 2 and 16. We found this from the equation. So far, very easy. Then, to find A, we need to substitute the points into this equation. So 2 times x, which is 2, plus A gives you 16. Now, 4 plus something gives you 16. 4 plus 12 equals 16. A is 12. And that's how you solve in the first way. Second way you could solve this is you could make the discriminant equal to 0, which means, remember when we used to do quadratic formula last year? How did you find the delta? Delta equals b squared minus 4ac. Then you'd find b squared, you'd get your equation. So b squared is 16 minus 4 into 16 minus a equals to 0. Why 0? Because when you're solving quadratic formula, if you get a positive number, it means 2 real roots. If you get 0, it's 1 real root, and if you get negative number, no real roots. So now you just solve this. You're gonna get a equals 12 based on this equation, and then you solve then by using a equals 12, you write down your equation. So like it's again x squared minus what's it called? Yeah, x squared minus 4x plus 4. Then we know that there's only one equation this could be, x squared minus 2 squared. Or no, it's x squared minus plus 4. X squared minus 2 squared. No, wait, what? Anyways, you can just solve it by quadratic formula into your calculator. You're gonna get that your points are 2. Your point is 2 because it's x. Oh yeah, this looks like x minus 2 squared, all squared. That's what the equation is. That's your equation. So x equals 2. And then again, you substitute 2 into the original equation or this equation. Both equations work. And now that you know A, you're gonna get 16 as your second point. Same answer. Moving on. Now, for this part, it's easier. It's very easy. Finally. Consider the curve at point C, y equals this. So now we need the slope of the tangent at this point. So we derive, so it's negative 2 over 12 or 1 over 6 x. Then plus 12 is a constant, so this is your equation. And now they want this at point 6. At when x is 6. When x is 6, the answer is negative 1. Now to get the normal of the curve is the negative reciprocal. So it's flip it and change the sign. So it's 6x. At 6, Oh wait, my bad. Since it's, I don't know why I flipped the equation. You don't flip the equation. This is the slope of the tangent, so the slope of the normal is the negative reciprocal. So this is negative 1 over 1. When you flip it, it becomes 1 over 1 and you change the sign. So it's just positive 1. Okay? Now the normal of the curve at this point intersects the y-axis, which means x is 0 when y is. So you first write the equation y equals y minus 9 equals 1 into x minus 6. You get y minus 9 equals x minus 6. So y equals x plus 3. When it intersects y-axis, we said it has to be x equals 0. So x plus 0 plus 3 is 3. And that's your answer. Moving on to our next question. Again, we need to use chain rule for both of these questions. Let me just check something. And also for the last question, same exact thing. Anyways, so we need to use chain rule. So this equation is just basically x squared minus 8x times, you also need to use product rule, 6 minus x power 1, negative 1. So product rule x, so it's 2x minus 8 times 6 minus x power negative 1 plus, now we use chain rule for this, negative 1 into 6 minus x, which is negative 2 here, times negative 1 is just going to be 1 into, or just going to be 6 minus x power negative 2, and we could of course take 6 minus x as a factor. So 6 minus x power negative 2, you take it as a factor into 2x. Oh, by the way, you need to multiply. I keep forgetting this one step. Multiply this by x squared minus 8x. That's what's written in the corner there, if you can't see. Actually, why? An arrow works. X squared minus 8x. So now you have 8, all of this into 2x minus 8 into, it's minus 1, minus 1, minus 2, minus 2. It's 1. So it's, yeah, so it's this into 6 minus x into, or plus, sorry, 8x squared minus 8x. And you close the big brackets there. So this is basically 2x minus 8 into 6 minus x plus x squared over minus 8x all over 6 minus x squared. And now we simplify the numerator by, so it's 12x minus 2x squared minus 48 plus 8x plus x squared minus 8x. This is gonna end up being negative x squared. 8x is gonna cancel completely, plus 12x minus 48 over 6 minus x squared. I don't have space to put it anymore, guys. So this is our final answer. Part B is pure chain rule, no product rule. So it is 1 plus 2x squared power 9 power negative half, or no, power just half. So it's just power 9 over 2. So it's equal to 1 plus 2x squared power 9 over 2. Then it's 9 over 2 by chain rule plus into 1 plus 2x squared times 4x. So when we do that, it's gonna be 18x, because you multiply 9 over 2 times 4x, into 1 plus, oh yeah, it's 9 over 2, I forgot 7 over 2 is here. Yeah, it's 7 over 2 here. My bad. So it's 18x into 1 plus 2x squared over to the power of 7 over 2. And now we just need to put everything under the radical sign. So it's 18x, we leave it aside now. It's 1 plus 2x squared power 7 under square sign. We can have 7 is basically 3 times 2. So we could take out 3, this to the power of 3, and we'll leave, no, sorry, my bad, I made like a very dumb mistake. So listen, this equation is, like I said, 1 plus 2x squared power 7. Now what's power 7? It can be split up into this power 6 times 1 plus 2x squared. Now the power 6 thing can be taken out and it'll become power 3. So it's 1 plus 2x squared power 3 times radical 1 plus 2x. And that's your final answer. Now moving on to finally the last question. Chain rule again. They want us to derive it, so it's x12 plus 4 power half. Now when we half into x12 plus 4 power negative half. This one is just, yeah, let me check, negative half. Times the derivative, which is 12x power 11. Now 12x power 11 and half can simplify to become 6x power 11 over, because you need to move this down because it's a negative exponent, x power 12 plus 4 power half, and power half is the same as putting it under a radical sign. That's it for this quiz. Hope you understood everything. Have a great day. Bye.